This is the newsroom.
This is the newsroom for Friday, May 30th, 2025. We're broadcasting to you on E1, SKAR TV, NTN, and TARZEE TV in Bartica. In the headlines, second autopsy on Adriana's body confirmed the integrity of the first, even though it stopped short of naming drowning without full data. Landmark US $22 million Guyana One health project to bolster the country's health system and pandemic preparedness.
We must be able to see what is happening in any part of the country. And once we see a hotspot, we'll have rapid response teams that can respond in a very timely manner.
Improved and secure internet access as first local internet exchange point is launched. Farmers can now choose between fertiliser or cash support. And in sport, GFF aims to start construction of spectator stands at training facility by August. And Guyana Cups silver in women's doubles at South American Squash Championships. With the news, I'm Kurt Campbell. We're glad you can join us. First up, the tragic death of 11-year-old Adriana Young continues to grip the nation. It sparked an outcry, fueled speculation, and pushed a grieving family to the extra mile, even across borders, in search of clarity and justice. Now, I want to walk you through the facts, step by step, and explain what both the first and now a second autopsy have revealed. On April 28, 2025, I was among hundreds of persons at the Georgetown Public Hospital where Adriana's body was examined by a team of 3 seasoned forensic pathologists, Dr. Cara Paul, Dr. Glenn Rudner, and Dr. Gary Collins. Their findings were clear and scientific. Her lungs were swollen and filled with fluid, a textbook sign of drowning. Foam in her airways indicated she was alive when submerged. There were no signs of trauma, no bruises, no cuts, no defensive wounds. Toxicology tests were clean, no drugs, only minimal ethanol, which is a natural byproduct of decomposition. DNA testing showed no foreign material, ruling out sexual assault or struggle. A patterned mark on her arm matched the VIP wristband she had been wearing, likely imprinted after prolonged submersion, suggesting she remained in the water. Their conclusion: accidental drowning.
They say she drowned. Yeah. They say she, and there's no results for me.
Based on the findings, they determined that she drowned, that she died by drowning.
After careful deliberation, the team concluded that Ms. Young died as a result of drowning.
But in the shadow of public doubt and mounting pressure, Adriana's family sought further answers. Her body was embalmed and flown to the United States, to Georgia, for an independent second opinion.
I think the first examination was conducted thoroughly, and as I'm doing this examination, first and foremost, I'm looking for any trauma to the body.
And did you find any evidence of trauma?
No, I did not.
That was Dr. Carol Terry, Chief Medical Examiner of Gwinnett County. Her role, a form of quality control, to verify the first autopsy's conclusions. Dr. Terry made an important point up front. The best opportunity to determine cause of death is during the first autopsy, before embalming, before significant decomposition. Nonetheless, she proceeded with her examination. Her verdict: the first autopsy was competently and thoroughly conducted. She agreed with the initial findings. No trauma, no signs of struggle. But there is a key nuance. Reasonable conclusion, Dr. Terry said she was reluctant to rule it definitively, not because of conflicting evidence, but because of limitations introduced by embalming and because she had not received full toxicology results herself. Still, she supported the initial conclusion and emphasized that no trauma was overlooked.
Drowning is a diagnosis of exclusion, and by that it means that you have to exclude other potential causes of death. And oftentimes when a body is found in water, the assumption is that the person has drowned. There is nothing at autopsy that is diagnostic of drowning. So again, that's what I mean by saying drowning is a diagnosis of exclusion.
Dr. Terry also noted that some of the circumstances surrounding Adriana's death were, in her words, suspicious and called for continued investigation. But to date, investigations, including those led by retired Royal Canadian Mounted Police investigator Mr. Leonard McCushion, have found no evidence of criminal involvement by anyone named or unnamed. So, where do we stand? 2 autopsies, conducted in different countries by different experts, have reached the same essential conclusion. There is no evidence of trauma, struggle, or sexual assault. The first autopsy pointed to accidental drowning. The second confirmed the integrity of that work, even if it stopped short of naming drowning without full data. In death, as in life, Adriana Young deserves dignity, clarity, and truth. And based on the science available to us, that truth is becoming clearer. In a landmark move to enhance Guyana's health security, the Guyana One Health Project, a US $22 million initiative funded by a grant from the Pandemic Fund and credit from the World Bank, was launched on Friday. Over the next 3 years, the project will focus on preventing, preparing for, and responding to future health emergencies using an integrated One Health approach, that is, linking human, animal, and environmental health.
Guyana was not prepared to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic when the first positive case hit these shores in 2020. And so, to detect, prevent, and respond to future health emergencies, the Guyana One Health Project was created. Dr. Anand Prasad, the technical project lead, revealed that the project will be executed by the Ministry of Health and be monitored and guided by the World Bank.
The specific objectives of the project, I'll just go through a few of them. So it's one, a unified, efficient public health laboratory network. So that's important. Expansion of the laboratory network, integration and digitization. A rapid data-driven health surveillance system, similarly the same. Expansion and creation of surveillance systems in the region, integration through software, looking at better ways to do data analysis for policy and implementation of activities. Strengthening public health workforce is another big area. It's not just a question of increasing quantity of healthcare personnel, but the quality also. Training that is consistent and training that involves modules embedded into the established training mechanisms that already exist in the Ministry of Health and is being expanded across different professions. Enhanced border security, another big area, which is very important. We learned during the COVID-19 pandemic that we're not able to close our borders whenever there's an outbreak or a disease. But now we're able to ensure that we have control mechanisms at our points of entry to monitor conveyances and cargo and travelers, which is very important.
The project marks the first of its kind in Latin America and the Caribbean, according to the practice manager at the World Bank Group, Tanya Dimitrizenko.
This project, the World Bank project, the One Health project, is the first World Bank supported project in the Latin America region, and only 2 worldwide, the other one being China. Guyana is a company of some pretty big players.
The One Health project will also establish a state-of-the-art laboratory that will serve as a regional reference hub for the Caribbean. It promises opportunities for cross-border collaboration and knowledge sharing with the aim of strengthening pandemic preparedness beyond Guyana's borders. Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony said the scientific advancements the project will support include molecular and gene sequencing for disease surveillance.
We must be able to see what is happening in any part of the country, and once we see a hotspot, we'll have rapid response teams that can respond in a very timely manner, so that it doesn't become a problem. So that's what we're aiming to do with these resources.
The significance of such a project could not be overstated at the launch, as it represented a major milestone in Guyana's development in equipping the future workforce with the tools and training required to combat emerging health threats. For Newsroom, Isanella Patwa.
We tell you now that the country's first ever internet exchange point was launched on Friday and promises improved and secure internet access, making interconnected routing faster. And IXP is a physical location where multiple internet service providers and content delivery networks connect to exchange internet traffic directly. In a significant and strategic collaboration, local network providers eNet and One Communications joined the National Data Management Authority, NDMA, to make possible the GYIXP. The IXP's infrastructure is at the University of Guyana Turkine campus. Prime Minister Brigadier Retired Mark Phillips said it will greatly impact the development of the country's information and communications technology infrastructure.
That before now, if you're making a call across one network to another network, that call had to be routed to Miami, like you're making a call from one communication to a phone on Digicel or eNet, right? It had to be routed, of course, over the internet. It had to be routed to Miami and then back to Guyana. But now, the routing is done inside of Guyana. So it goes straight over, right? And all the advantages that comes with it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a responsibility not only to develop the internet, but also to make it more accessible to individuals, businesses, and governments. This is made possible today, not only through the government of Guyana's efforts, but also through those of the University of Guyana in providing a neutral space to house GYIXP and the internet service providers. And your contributions to Guyana's development are much appreciated. Nationally, an IXP has the potential to revolutionize the national digital landscape and can exponentially increase internet-based entrepreneurship and national development opportunities, including domestic content production. By facilitating the interconnection of the networks of our local internet service providers, GYIXP is expected to tangibly improve network performance, security, resiliency, and costs, thus improving connectivity and quality of service locally, regionally, and internationally. We will no longer be solely reliant on expensive international links during our day-to-day operations. And we will also have the ability to preserve access to local services and businesses in the event of a break in the submarine cables servicing Guyana.
Farmers now have the option to receive the fertilizer support either in kind or direct cash equivalent based on their preference. This revised policy was announced by President Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali during an outreach at the Albion Community Center in Region 6, East Berbice County. On Thursday, for example, a farmer with 30 acres of land could receive fertilizer worth $200,000 or the cash equivalent, if preferred. This approach will ensure that the support is more effectively tailored to farmers.
So as we advance forward, what are some of the new ideas that we have been talking about and discussing? One is that we have to reduce the spoilage of paddy. To do that, we need modern drying and storage facility. Modern drying and storage facility that would allow the farmers to store their paddy without infestation for a longer period of time. So if the market collapses in a particular period, we have long-term storage to enhance long-term storage of international standard. And that is the first thing. Drying and storage facility. Increasing our yield and productivity. Having more varieties available. How do we ensure that we maximize our yield and productivity? Importantly, too, for the rice farmers, we have to look at a system of integrated farms, where we say for every 10 acres of rice farm, we use 1 acre for a high-value, high-yielding commodity. So we reduce the risk we increase productivity, we expand and diversify our income base. So one of the things that we will support you on, so one, we have to co-invest on the storage and drying facility, modern storage and drying facility. Two, we have to continue to work with you on increasing yield and productivity. Three, we will be working with you on how to create these integrated farms and identify crops with the technology and the support for you to start up these integrated farms.
5 former staff and 2 officials of the Guyana Elections Commission were allegedly involved in fraudulent activities, including the altering of figures and statements of polls from Region 4 during the tabulation following the March 2, 2020 polls. This was disclosed by Minister of Local Government and Regional Development Sonia Parag as the trial into those elections continue on Friday. At the time, she was a party agent for the People's Progressive Party.
5 former staff, including Sheriff in February, Enrique Lyven, Michelle Miller, and Dennis Bach Cummins, along with former Chief Elections Officer Keith Lowingfield and former Returning Officer for District 4, Claremont Mingo, were pinpointed on Friday by Minister of Local Government and Regional Development Sonia Parag, who said she saw them involved in fraudulent activities during the tabulation and verification of votes cast in Region 4. This process was being conducted at the Guyana Elections Commission GCOM Command Center, which was housed at Ashman's Building in Georgetown. They were involved in the altering of figures on statement of polls, also known as SOPs, using spreadsheets. Parag made this revelation during cross-examination on Friday as the trial into the March 2020 electoral fraud continued at the Georgetown Magistrates Court. In response to questions asked by defense attorney U.C. Anderson, Parag said that these fraudulent activities occurred between March 3rd and March 5th, 2020, and March 12th and March 13th, 2020. While this was happening, and despite objections and efforts to even clear the building, including a report of a bomb scare, Parag said she stayed and guarded the SOPs in her possession. In fact, she reiterated that she did not believe that there was a bomb scare, but an attempt to stall the elections process. 9 individuals are currently before the court, charged with conspiring to manipulate the election results in favor of APNU AFC, thereby seeking to deny victory to the PPP. Those charged include former Government Minister Valda Lawrence, former Chief Elections Officer Keith Lowingfield, former Region 4 Returning Officer Claremont Mingo, and former Deputy Chief Elections Officer Roxanne Myers, among others. The controversy surrounding the March 2020 elections delayed the results for 5 months until PPP candidate Irfan Ali was sworn in as president in August 2020. The trial continues on June 23rd. For the newsroom, Sharda Bacchus.
Tushao of Paramakotoy village in Region 8, Pastor Stephen Sentas, recounted chilling encounters with purported minors in his community in recent weeks at this year's National Tushao's Council NTC conference. According to the Tushao, the minors armed with guns and face covered are denying villagers access to lands used for hunting, fishing, and farming. They revealed that a no trespassing sign has been erected on a main roadway to the back dam, blocking access for the residents.
I don't know if the GGMC is aware of it. There is some company in that back dam, in that mines. There was been complaint which oftenly be told, and I never visited this mine. But recently, the person who came into that back dam, his name is Mark Hussein. This is how he came into that back dam. He told me that he's from a member of the GGMC and he would like to visit the back dam mines in the Arctic back dam. So I allowed him. He went in there and he checked the place, and then he came back and he said, to show the place is okay. I didn't know that he was coming into that mines, and then after that, he came in with all the equipments and the workers, and that's how we end up in Arnik Bagdam. And then secondly, they run into the Bagdam again, and then that is how they bully out the miners from Arnik. They tear up their pollen camps, and they destroy everything of those miners and told them that they would be able to stop working. And up to now, they stopped working. Thirdly, they complain that they don't want these people to controverse or passing because that's the main road where we do go doing hunting, fishing, and farming. And now the people there, they don't want us to pass. They don't want the people to pass there. And now they've set up a big signboards marking danger. Anyone that trespass on that land, on the road, is going to be persecuted. So the people came back to me and said, to show this is what has been happening all the time. And all the time we're passing, these people using face masks. You can't know who they are. And this man is full of arms. This man is full of arms, and they said to shout, this is the condition of these people. What can you say about it? Do the GGMC know about these people? I didn't went into it, and then at last now they came and they reported to me. I said, I'm going. They say, anytime you reach there to show, this man rushing to you with their arms, you have to surrender. You have to kneel down. They come and gun butt you. I said, I'm going. Let the gun butt me. And I went in there. It was the 2nd of May this month. I went in there. And there were one counselor with me, and the GPC members went with me in there. So we went there. And indeed, these people rushed to us. And the signboard was there. So they come to me with their gun. They said, who is you? I said, I'm a human. I'm a Guyanese just like you. He said, stop. You cannot pass this boundary line. I said, I will pass. Before you, I work in Arnik. And Arnik is where we do our mining or fishing or farming. And then they came to me. And as they spot me, they know that I told them I'm too short of Parvaktai. Then they draw back. Then they said, okay, Tushaw, you are welcome. At the same time, they don't want you to take out their picture. They don't want nothing. And the mining was over there. And they said, what is your concern? What is your problem? I said, this is my concern and this is my problem. That is why I'm here. And then we call the head office in Madhya, one of the commander of police. He said, what is it? I said, this is happening right now here. And the commander said, tell the person to take down the signboard. So I tell him this is what the commander is saying. He said, I am not going to do it because the GGMC give us permission to put up the signboards. That is how it happened. So,
still to come, electricity coverage in Port Kaituma being expanded, and Venezuelan elections were a failure. Welcome back. This is the newsroom. General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party Civic, PPPC, Dr. Bartica, on Thursday said the party will spend the next few months campaigning on its track record in office. President Dr. Irfaan Ali recently announced that Guyana's general and regional elections will be held on September 1st, 2025. Ahead of those elections, Jack Dio of the governing PPP said the party is ready for the elections and confident it has fulfilled promises made to Guyanese.
And we are going to campaign on our track record and what the PPP stewardship, leadership in this country has meant to the development of our country and its people. And we do not need to go back to our long history of progress made under the People's Progressive Party. But if you were to do that, you would see that we've consistently been the sole party that has fought for people's freedom, for democracy, and to ensure that all Guyanese can prosper. That track record could be supported by clear evidence as to the change in the socioeconomic status of our country and the well-being of our people.
Several women benefiting from the Board of Industrial Training BIT programs are excited to use their skills for economic gain and opportunities. On Tuesday, the board held its Try a Skill exhibition and fair at the Arthur Chung Conference Center, Georgetown, where persons benefiting from the programs shared their experiences.
This year, the Board of Industrial Training BIT received a significant allocation of $677.5 million in the 2025 national budget to support training for 2,397 additional participants, expanding access to various technical and vocational education and training (TVET) programs. It also received support from the World Bank, the Guyana Energy Agency, and the Ministry of Human Service and Social Security to make more women-focused training sessions available. As such, this is the first year that 60% of the participants are women, a feat never done before. Stipend, and upon completing the programs, persons can use their certificates to access various sectors. Chanel Khan, a resident of Region 2, Pomeroon, Suriname, said since starting her training in electrical installation in March 2025, she's excited to put her skills to the test upon completing the program.
I think it would help me develop more, get more open up, be more brave, and encourage me to keep going forward.
The various programs offered by BIT are intended to provide persons with skills that respond to the many needs of the country, and with the rapid transformation taking place, more opportunities are available. Women in particular are encouraged to enroll in the technical skills programs, as these are fields that produce high-paying jobs. Darshni Khan, who is doing the heavy-duty machinery engineering program, said the program trainers are very hands-on and have made learning much easier than anticipated.
At first, I was so scared. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm a girl. What am I doing here? And then when I came and I get the knowledge, and with the awesome teachers that we have, Mr. Jack and Mr. Roach, I could now say I'm somewhat a master on these machines.
Another participant who hails from Region 5, Mahika Barbis, Lynette Sahari, who is doing the agro-processing program, said it taught her how to make many processed foods. She said her hope is to someday own her own business and even contributing to the country's agro-processing sector.
We did gooseberry syrup, cherry syrup. We learned to make wine, one of the wine.
BIT is celebrating its 115th anniversary this year. Reporting for the newsroom, Lazina Yearwood.
Efforts are continuous to upgrade the electricity distribution in Port Kaituma, Region 1, Burima Winey. Minister of Housing and Water Colin Crowell, during a recent visit to the region, said with the expanded coverage, persons living on the banks will be able to have access to electricity.
We have existing contract for the expansion of the electricity from the Port Kaituma grid that will be run with both left and right bank to ensure persons living along the bank to get electricity. So to the children, I said to you, you're the last set that will know about those hardships. Because you will then have to tell the next generation what your parents went through, what it's like to be able to have to study or read or do whatever under different type of light, candle, flambeau light, whatever. You won't know this.
Vice President Dr. Bartica labeled the May 25 Venezuelan elections for Guyana's Essequibo region a huge failure, rejecting propaganda emanating from the Spanish-speaking nation. The elections were for governor and other representatives of the Essequibo region, an area internationally recognized as Guyana's. The elections were held in Venezuela. Guyana maintains that Essequibo is an integral part of its sovereign territory, a position upheld by the International Court of Justice. In its December 2023 ruling, so it believes that the Venezuelan elections are a violation of the ICJ's orders and international law.
Now, those elections were a failure by any standard. It was such a failure that the Vice President of Venezuela had to resort to a blatant lie by posting a video to her page which showed people crossing from the Demerara River, they're crossing in a boat here with Starbucks Market in the background as people crossing the border to vote in Venezuela. That's the level of fakeness and desperation in the Venezuelan regime. Something that could have easily been debunked to delude themselves that people were going to cross the border to vote in these elections that purported to elect a governor for Essequibo and other officials at Essequibo. Nobody crossed. Nobody crossed. It's a rejection. Nobody wants to be part of Venezuela. This is sovereign Guyanese territory. They recognize that this is one of Maduro's gambits to deflect attention from his worries at home.
When the newsroom returns, the financial, weather, and bridge reports, along with sport news. Stay with us. Welcome back to Newsroom Sport. Tonight we're starting off with some football news. The Guyana Football Federation, GFF, is set to embark on a significant expansion of its national training center in Providence with the ultimate aim of hosting international football matches. This move follows formal approvals from FIFA on May 21st to appoint a consultant to oversee the tender process for Phase 1 of the project. This phase will focus on foundational components crucial for spectator accommodation. This includes the construction of spectator seating on the western and southern sides of the pitch, along with modernized washroom facilities. Additionally, a surface road will be developed around the pitch alongside improved areas for vending and concessionary services. GFF President Wayne Ford anticipates that physical work will begin by the middle of August 2025.
Phase 1 of the NTC project comprises several foundational components. These include the installation of spectator seating on the western and southern side of the pitch, as well as construction of modernized washroom facilities to enhance user experience. A service road encircling the pitch will be developed as part of this phase, alongside significantly improved infrastructure for vending and concessionary services. These are all essential elements for a functional, community-oriented football venue. I don't have the exact figures now, but I will tell you that the pitch costs a little bit over $1 million, and the lights also cost a little bit over $1 million, I believe 1.1 million. And the works that we did on this building here to retrofit it is somewhere around 290 plus, I believe, $1,000 we spent. So I believe in all, we could probably round it off at about maybe $2.4 plus million US were spent here. I don't have, and I don't want to guess, because obviously we will go for tender now. A lot has changed in the cost of material in Guyana, and it's evolving all the time. So we would see what are the submissions of the contractor. I think our team will have their engineers estimate which will probably be a guide in the evaluation process. But those expertise is now seated with the consultant that is going to be appointed to manage the tender process. So I am not in a position to say that will encompass phase one is going to cost. After that recommendation comes, which would be which contractor is identified by the consultant as the most competitive, then it will be negotiations around contract. So we are entering into June, July. I could see us middle to the end of August to be safe before we can actually see physical work being done at the site here at Providence.
Guyana's Ashley Cahill and Christine Gomes won silver in the women's doubles final at the South American Senior Squash Championships in Brazil on Thursday evening. Facing the formidable Chilean pair of Ana Maria Pinto and Giselle Delgado, in the championship match, the Guyanese team showed tremendous grit and resolve, but ultimately went down 10-11, 5-11. It is the sole medal for Guyana thus far at the championships, as the other doubles teams exited at the quarter-final stage, and in the singles, players either lost at the round of 32 or round of 16 stage. Attention now turns to the team segment of the championships. The 6th edition of the ExxonMobil Under-14 Schools Football Tournament is set to commence on Saturday, June 14, promising a month of youth football culminating in the finals on June 12 at the Ministry of Education ground at Carfesta Avenue.
The tournament is a key event for youth development for local football, was officially launched Thursday at Carroll Lodge. Petro Organization, the coordinating body, outlined at the scale of the tournament, noting that the main competition will feature 32 boys teams and 24 girls teams, who will initially compete in a group stage format before progressing to the knockout rounds. This year will not see participation from regions 8 and 9. Co-director of the Petro Organization, Troy Mendonca, revealed the significant interest in this year's edition, with 56 boys teams and 39 girls teams registering. This high level of interest will necessitate preliminary matches to reduce the numbers for the main draw. Mendonca affirmed that Petro's dedication to the tournament's success, emphasizing its role in providing a crucial platform for young talent to shine. Meanwhile, All Giants ExxonMobil has played a significant role as title sponsor, contributing Guyana $20.9 million for the youth tournament.
Over the past decades, we've been investing in communities, enhancing community grounds across the country, even in remote areas. We've been supporting school sports, regional competitions, and even international tournaments. Why sports? Why is our company paying so much focus on sports throughout Guyana? We believe that sports is vital towards the building of youth, and it's a pillar towards their development.
The Director of Sports, Steve Ninval, pledged the support of the National Sports Commission and the Ministry to elevate the tournament to a truly national level. He also welcomed the introduction of the Most Promising Player Prize.
This tournament is being run through 8 of the 10 administrative regions that Guyana has. And I would urge Exxon and the organizers of this tournament, so let's look and see if next year we can really make it a truly national event by having from Region 9 and Region 8. I'm saying this because of the fact that the National Sports Commission, and by extension the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport, stands ready to provide whatever assistance is necessary to make this a truly national affair. And in saying that, I would want to ask the organizers that even though they're having several prizes for MVPs and so forth, we would want to ask that there are special prizes too for the most promising players, and the National Sports Commission will be supporting that cause, both for the male and for the female.
The tournament will offer a range of prizes for both individual and teams. Individual awards are valued at $60,000, all of which goes towards school supplies, a trophy, and either football boots or goalkeeper gloves. The top 4 teams in both categories will also receive significant financial prizes, all towards school projects, with the winners set to receive Guyana $400,000, the runners-up $200,000, third place $100,000, and fourth place $75,000.
Guyana has been confirmed as the host nation for the 54th edition of the Inter-Guyana Games, which are scheduled to take place from December 5th to the 7th. Director of Sports Steve Ninval announced the recent launch of the ExxonMobil Under-14 School Football Tournament. He indicated that the school's football tournament could serve as a crucial proving ground for young talents hoping to represent Guyana at the Games. The Director of Sport confirmed that both traditional participating territories, Suriname and French Guyana, are expected to compete. However, the final list of sports disciplines to be contested will be determined in the upcoming months following discussions with the neighboring countries.
With this on the 14 competition, we are seeing the future now. And these young footballers who will graduate from this are the next leaders of football in this country. December 5th, 2025, the National Sports Commission will be officially opening this year's Inter-Guyana Games. It will run from December 5th to December 7th. And I am assured that several of the players coming out of this under-14 competition may be representing Guyana at that Inter-Guyana tournament.
The organizers of the CARES One Guyana T10 Tape Ball Blast are urging teams to get registered as soon as they can. The early surge since registration commenced on May 14 has resulted in limited spots remaining, especially in zones with a limit of 16 teams. According to Director John Ramsing, the interest is at an all-time high given the expansion and lucrative prizes. The tournament is set to commence on June 28 in Berbice and will move to the 2 other counties before the championship finals on August 3 at the National Stadium, Providence.
From the inception, before registration officially started, we had lots of interest being shown. And when registration officially started, most of those slots went already. And most of the areas, most of the zones just have 2, maybe 3 the most slots still available. So it's not totally closed, it's just that there's a big demand for those slots. And it means now that the interest is high. I would like to encourage teams who are interested in the tournament to express your interest by going a step further, by formally registering for this tournament, because not a lot of space available. We really need your support at the grassroots level, right? The Georgetown and the East Coast Demerara zone, because it's a bigger zone, has some space. So if by chance you do not get into the preferred zone, right, then you have an opportunity to enter in that zone. But that zone, because of the timing, can also go quickly. So what I'm saying basically is get yourself registered early. Just a few slots available.
Mumbai Indians march on in pursuit of a 6th Indian Premier League title after knocking out the Gujarat Titans in the eliminator on Friday. Led by Rohit Sharma with a top score of 81 from 51 balls, Johnny Bairstow 47 from 22 balls, and Suryakumar Yadav 33 from 20 balls. Mumbai rollicked to 228 for 5. They then restricted Gujarat to 208 for 6. Despite the in-form Shai Sudharsan smashing 80 off 49 balls, and Washington Sundar with a 24-ball 48. Surfin Rutherford supported 24 from 15 balls. Mumbai now faces Punjab Knights in qualifier 2 on Sunday, where the winner will face the Royal Challengers Bangalore in the final on June 3. And with that, we've come to the end of this newscast. On behalf of the news and technical teams, I'm Kurt Campbell saying thank you.